Federal government has been charged to take responsibility and cater for men and officers of the armed forces undergoing post-traumatic stress disorder. The wife of the president, Buhari, Aisha Buhari, gave the charge at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Armed Forces Ptsd Center initiated by the Defense Police Officers' Wives Association in Abuja. There have been noted cases of soldiers relying on drugs for agility, competence, boldness during battle. In order to address the issue of post-trauma disorder among military, Defense Police Officers' Wives Association has initiated Post-Trauma Stress Disorder Center in Abuja, aimed at providing timely intervention for men and officers of the armed forces who are dealing with PTSD to reduce the impact of their traumatic experience as well as ensure their mental well-being. In a remark, the special guest of honor, Aisha Buhari, applauded the initiative of the poor president and her team for establishing a world-class PTSD Center for the Armed Forces, saying the well-being of the armed forces lies solely with the federal government.
This center is timely as it is a problem that really deserves a solution of this nature, and providing facilities and services for testing, treatment, and rehabilitation of patients is key. Therefore, fundraising is not a solution. The solution is the federal government that send them to fight that send them to the war front to take responsibility in taking care of their families and also taking care of their mental health after returning from the war front.
Stakeholders at the event described the project as a laudable step that will help bridge the huge gap in mental health responses as well as help to provide service of rehabilitation for the officers from the theater of war.
That the sacrificial services to nation and people are given the requisite attention they deserve, both during and after the period they have served. This is a call to action to bring to light the fact that the dedication to duty by members of the armed forces of Nigeria is the ultimate and highest patriotic service that one can give in defense of their country, hence deserving the nation's fullest support.
It is an eye-opener for me. As the Baroness has said, the whole Africa should be looking at Nigeria for setting this example and copying for the sake of our young men and women. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have been in denial for so long. As Africa, we have insisted that we don't have post-traumatic stress disorder in Africa. And our sons and daughters have suffered in silence. The time is up. Nigeria has set the example today that we can all rise and do something about our sons and daughters who sacrifice so much for our safety and good life. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
on the groundbreaking occasion of this wonderful initiative, I think for us all, it will be a first of its kind in the continent, but it's going to be a wider initiative that I hope global leaders across the world will recognize as a necessity. When we send off our military staff to defend our nations, we send them off knowing that they may not come back. We send them off knowing that they may come back injured. But what we have failed to recognize for so long is those things we cannot see. The visibility of mental health, the visibility of...
Earlier, President of the Defense Police Officers' Wives Association, the POA, Vickie Irabor, says the initiative was born out of a desire to tackle with the post-trauma aftermath of war on officers and men of the armed forces, adding that the effect in the barrack communities remain unspoken and untreated. In lieu of this, the facility will serve as research for armed forces of Nigeria for proper care and reintegration of personnel returning from the theater of war.
Over 2 decades later, and leading an association of women bound together by marriage to military and police officers in Nigeria, I was confronted by the image of that moment of waiting at the foot of the aircraft. It kept coming back, and I allowed myself to think deeply, not only about my experience that day, but that of my husband, the injured men, the wives who became widows, the children who became fatherless, the personnel who had to leave the service as a result of their injury, the trauma, the men, the wives. And it's not just a brick and mortar project, but a symbol of hope for present and future generations of our people, and not just the military.
Traumatic Stress Disorder Center for the Armed Forces. A lot has been said by virtue of a recollection of how indeed issues of post-traumatic stress disorder has affected her and my family. But beyond that, the armed forces, of course, of today is bearing the brunt of having to be engaged in a protracted operations across the country and to other parts of the world, all in a bid to bring peace and security to our land. Whereas it's our solemn duty, our constitutional responsibility to do so, I'd like to say that, of course, our women are playing a very key role in doing this. Having realized that for us to be able to perform optimally in the front lines, there has to be a wellness perspective from the.
However, the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, added that the project is expected to complete before the expiration of the present administration tenure. The high point of the event was the groundbreaking and foundation laying of the Post-Trauma Stress Disorder Center. Kike Lomo Okere, Core TV News, Abuja.